next video in the series on chess improvement is similar to our last one, calculation, but in this case it's going to be a series of quizzes. In this position before you right now, my opponent played bishop to g5, and in response I played bishop to f6. With this move, I fully intended to allow the bishop to go to h6, threatening my rook, but why? That's my question. This is from a rated tournament game that I played many years ago. It was a win, but I think this is an important position that came up during the game, and I think my idea here, the idea of maybe bishop takes bishop, queen takes, putting pressure on f3 immediately. The d4 pawn, if you notice, is also still en prise, where the knight can take it. But I just want you guys to look at this position. I won't say anything else about it. There'll be no solution in this video for this. It's more of a quiz. I'll be either posting the solution on Discord, or I'll be posting it on Lead Chess under a study. And I will make that available beneath the video in the future. For now, I'm going to leave it like this, though. It's going to be 4 positions. Each one you need to calculate and figure out what did the player do to capitalize and get the win. So white played the next move, which was bishop to h6, threatening my rook. And what I want you to do is to find a concrete line, concrete ideas here, on what black should do. And I'll show you what happened to the game later, but I think this is, in order to start calculating better, you really have to take the time. Maybe you get out a board. Maybe you set this position up on a board, and you yourself pretend like you were in that tournament that I was in. Maybe give yourself some kind of time limit, half an hour, 15 minutes, whatever you want to give yourself. Give yourself some time, and then hit the other side of the clock. If you have a chess clock, you know how that works, right? Give yourself that time limit, look at the board, and within the time you give yourself, come up with the move you think you should play. If you want to make it really interesting, try to put yourself in like the full tournament mode, where maybe you're trying to play both sides even, and you're actually playing both sides with some kind of time. So you're like 15 minutes for white, 15 minutes for black. From here I'll play against myself in the position and try to calculate it out. But better than playing though is actually like the calculation part, right? Because if you just start moving the pieces, you're gonna see it. You're gonna see ideas. You're like, oh yeah, when I put the piece on the square, now that it's there, I just see it. But what's better is if you leave the board as it is right now to the best of your ability, and from this position, make decisions like, do I need to worry about the bishop taking my rook on f8? Is there something active that my bishop on f6 could do? Should I be going for some kind of pawn movement over here? Like, just think about it. And once you've made your decision, trust your move and go with it. But I'd be interested to see what you guys find. Feel free beneath this video on YouTube to go ahead and post what you think black should do here. We'll call this position A. So we'll call this A as the one that you're talking about. So you can say in position A, I think, and that's fine. And people can read below if they want to see your solution. That's fine as well. But I just didn't want to put the solution in the video. I'd like for this to be a thoughtful process. And one of the problems with video content is I can say things like, pause the video, think about the position, right? But I say that, do you do it? Do you do the work? Or is it just too easy to cheat, hit play, go ahead and see the solution before you? And because you saw the solution, your learning is somehow limited. They talk about this with math, with programming, where there's just something special about doing it yourself, right? You can have someone do your math problem for you, but of course when you start doing them yourself, you improve. You can have somebody, write your program for you or help you out with some coding, but when you yourself do the code and you start to actually like understand the terms and the things you're using, it's much, much better. You have ownership of it, right? I want you guys to own this position. In fact, I want you to own all 4 of these positions. So this is position A. It's labeled clearly, position A. And next we'll look at the other position I have for you. So this is black to move. What do you do? Black to move in this position, what do you do? Position A. Write it down, record it, keep track of the pieces somehow, maybe just pause the video later and set up a board to match. Whatever you need to do, this is your position. Maybe just stare at your computer screen, that's fine too. Next one. In this position, white to move. And this is actually one that's near and dear to me. This is one of those positions where white's actually doing very well. And you may be able to recognize that with the shield around the king and things that are going on. And a couple questions for you. Number 1, what should white do here? Like, what move do you think white should make? So kind of a similar problem, again, with some calculation involved. And then additional to that, do you think that bishop to e2, queen takes c6, bishop to f3, Do you think that's a good idea? Should those moves be played? Just want you to think about those two things. What should white do? And additionally, should bishop to e2, queen takes c6. Sorry, I wish we should go forward too because black's in check. So I'll put the king on the proper square. Now that it's white's turn, bishop to e2, queen takes c6, bishop to f3. Should we play those moves? Is there a better move? Think about that. Give me an answer in the chat below if you'd like. Or if you want to keep it to yourself, that's fine too, and let other people find it. It's also fine. But I hope you enjoyed this position. And like I said, it's from one of my tournament games, and it's an interesting one. So make sure you give this some thought. Okay, let's look at the next position. In this position, the question is, should black play queen to d6 to block this check? So the queen's currently attacking the king. It's in check. The king could move here to f7, to e8, or to d8 if the queen doesn't block. But should the queen block on d6? And as part of this, after you get your answer, just give me a line. Give me a series of moves after the move that you said is or isn't okay. Give me some ideas for white, and let me know what you came up with. So the question here is, should queen to d6 get played? And then if it's not played, so if the king moves back or the king moves over, what should white do? And additionally, if it is played, what should white do? Think about that. Okay, so it's a challenging one, right? And I can let you know that my opponent in the game, so you can think about what you should do. My opponent in the game played queen to d6. And I'd really want you to follow this through. If queen to d6 gets played, what should white do? Okay, so that's that puzzle. And then this last one over here, white has just played the move. I was playing the white pieces. White has played the move knight c to b5, threatening to come into c7. Right? That's an idea, maybe attacking the rook, but there's two pieces attacking that square, okay? So black played knight to d5, and in this final puzzle that I'm giving you today as a quiz, what I'd like you to do is to think about, what should white do here? Do you see a forcing line for white? It means if black makes best moves, it still works out. Do you see a forcing line for white that leads to the gain of material in this position? And if so, what is it? So those are your puzzles. You have this first one here. Bishop to h6 just got played. What do? Our second one right here, where we talked about the bishop moving and stuff, and then also what you should do. The third one with the queen blocking, and then the fourth. So these would be A, B, C, and D, if you want to post about them in the channel below. I hope you enjoy these problems. I hope that as a result of looking at these, you begin to improve your calculation in chess. And I encourage you to look for stuff like this. You can make this for yourself with any game. You can do it one move at a time. You could grab a collection of games, whether it's endgames or some other book that you've got. Maybe it's an actual game book, collection of games. And after each move, ask yourself, what would I do if I was the opponent? Or what would I do if I was the one making the move right now? You don't even look at the move. You just say, what would I move in this position? And asking that question and understanding your answers is going to help you improve at chess. I hope you do really well at these problems. And if you don't do well, don't be discouraged. Just know that this is something you need to work on. Maybe it's a middle game analysis. One of them is kind of approaching an end game. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy these puzzles, and let me know what you guys think. And good luck to all of you. Take care.